A home gym. Everyone's got to have a home gym today. If you can afford to have a home gym, you've got to have a home gym. But there's a few items of equipment that are your absolute essentials for a home gym. And most of the advice on the internet, and there's lots of it, is mainly around DIY home gyms or budget garage gyms, which is great advice if you're working on a really shoestring or a really tight budget, or maybe you've got a really small little space somewhere that you're wanting a few items on. So there's some great advice on this. But if you want to be inspired, you want a place that's going to really motivate you to train and spend your 30 minutes every day, then you really do need to invest in a good quality home gym. Something that is a designated space. It might be your double garage, taking everything out, taking the cars out, stripping it down, fitting that as a designated gym, or it might be the basement in your home or a bedroom downstairs in your home, or it might even be a pop-up cabin, which in the UK you can do without planning permission now. But we've got some great advice on that. If you are interested in that, we've got another video called How to Design a Home Gym. So I'd encourage you to go along there and take a look at that video, which has got all sorts of advice on mirrors and flooring and ceiling height and all of that type of thing. But coming back to a home gym, one of the things that is taken for granted more and more is the flooring. It's an absolutely fundamental part of the home gym. So it's not an area that you really want to not to invest money in, or an area that you want to leave until the last. It's something that you want to budget for right from the beginning. And it's for a number of reasons. One is functionally, you want to be able to drop weights, kettlebells, dumbbells, etc. And you don't want it to vibrate through the building, especially if you've got the gym within your house itself. But even if you've got it in a garage, in the UK, properties are quite small, so the garage will be heard. Anything dropping in the garage are likely to be heard by the neighbors, and you don't want them knocking on your door telling you to stop training. So getting a good acoustic flooring is really important, but also from the aesthetics. You want something that's a good quality flooring, not just a standard black stable matting that's going to hollow in the middle and might not fit your space correctly, etc. But you want something that actually looks good, feels good when you walk in there, and aesthetically really gives a good vibe when you walk in the facility, and it's obviously providing the protection as well that you need. But the 6 items of equipment that are your absolute essentials or your must-haves for a gym, I've broken those into groups of 3. And the first 3 really are your essentials. These are the items that you really can't do without, that you've got to have in every home gym. The first and most obvious is having a bar, a set of weights, and some clamps for the end of a bar. Now with a bar, you can do just about anything. I mean, you can do your biceps, you can do shoulders, you can do squats, training your legs, you can lie on the ground and you can do a chest press. And so there's lots of exercise you can do with just a bar. The second essential item is a squat stand. So that could just be a standard stand with maybe a pull-up bar on the top of it that you can squat off, or it might be a half rack, which is a lot more robust and has a lot more options. Or it could be a power rack, so where you've got a whole cage where you've got the safety bars and the power rack. You can have all sorts of attachments to a power rack as well. You can have dipping bars, you can have barbell pivot or a landmine fitted onto it. You can have a jammer press handle, so you can be working your chest on it. You can even have a prone row bench, so you can be doing your back on it as well. So there's all sorts of attachments and fittings you can do onto a power rack. They obviously take up a lot more space, so you need a slightly bigger gym. But if it's a smaller space you've got, you probably want to look at a half rack. And if you really want to go on the tight budget side, then look at a squat stand or even a utility stand that ESP does. But the third item is an adjustable bench. You've got to have an adjustable bench, right? A bench that you can do from flat all the way up to 90 degrees. So you can do your shoulder work, incline work, chest work. You can do ab sit-ups on it. There's also all sorts of things that you can do on an adjustable bench. So those really are your 3 non-negotiable essential items that you absolutely have to have for a home gym. Your next 3 are your ideal items. So these items you want to add on to that if you can afford those. And the first of those is an adjustable pulley. So that's a dual column pulley. So you've got the 2 handles. You can be doing everything off there. You can be doing biceps, you can be doing triceps, lat pull downs, seated rows, diagonal work, so we're really working the rotational trunk, etc. And there are literally hundreds of exercises. Abductors and adductors, so working your hips as well, hamstring work. There's all sorts of exercises you can do off a dual pulley. So I'd really recommend that as the fourth item. The 5th item is a set of dumbbells. You've got to have a set of dumbbells, right? So you can either have that as a power block type, which is small on space, or you can have a full set of dumbbells. depending on the amount of space you've got. And dumbbells aren't cheap generally, but they're well worth fitting into a facility. And there's so much you can do with a dumbbell, from all your shoulder work and all sorts of exercises that you can do with a dumbbell. The 6 is a selection of accessories. So these are training accessories that I really recommend that you fit into your gym. One of them being possibly 2 medicine balls, maybe a 4 kilogram and an 8 kilogram, or a 5 and a 7, something like that. So it gives you variations of what you can do with a medicine ball, sit-up work, all sorts of work with a medicine ball. And the second is a plyo box, so a plyometric box. Now, so a plyo box that you can turn into different sizes, so you can get different heights. You can jump up and down and do plyometric work. You can do squats from sitting and standing. You can do step-ups. So all sorts of things off a plyo box. And then maybe some resistance bands, some bungee bands or crossover symmetry bands, or bands that you can do all sorts of small exercises, rotational exercises, etc. Or possibly a stretch mat. And then a togu jumper, which is a half round. You also get the Bosu. I prefer the togu jumper. It's a far better quality product, and it's a non-slip product. And then possibly a power ball, maybe a 65 centimeter power ball, or you call it a physio ball or strength ball, whatever you can call them. Togu makes one that is anti-burst, which is a superb one. And then possibly a set of kettlebells. So maybe a 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 20 kg kettlebell. So you can do all sorts of kettlebell swings, and there's whole workouts just on kettlebells. So it's a great addition. And then possibly a roller to maybe roll out, so do all your myofascial rolling. The Togu ActiRoll Rumble is a fantastic roller that molds to your spine and molds to your body. But there's some great products out there. So those are the first 6 that are your absolute necessities really, or must-haves for a gym. Then I've given another 3, and these are nice to haves for a facility. The first of those, so this is item number 7, is the G-Core. So if you can afford a G-Core, it's a superb item of equipment. The G-Core is very similar to a GHD, which is a much cheaper version, but the G-Core can do twice the number of exercises. An amazing number of exercises for your hamstrings, your glutes, for your lower back, for your abdominals, for your obliques. There's about 50 different exercises you can do on the G-Core, which is a fantastic piece of kit. But if you can't afford the G-Core, then possibly the GHD. There's also lots of exercises that you can do as well. And that's a great piece of kit to fit into your home. The next is really your cardio type equipment. And there I'd recommend the Ski Erg. Now the Ski Erg is a fantastic piece of kit. It's relatively inexpensive. It works your upper body. It works your legs as well. So you get a really whole body workout on a Ski Erg. Great piece of kit. Takes up very little space. You can bolt it against a wall. And if not a Ski Erg, then possibly an air bike. So the air bike, you can be cycling, you can be using your arms as well. You can also turn around the other side of the bike and just use your arms, so standing on your feet. So just working your upper body, a great warm-up for an upper body session as well. So I do one of those too. And the 9th item of equipment I would recommend is a treadmill. So you can do high intensity work, particularly if you're in the UK where the weather isn't great outside to be running, etc. It's fit a treadmill. You can have a motorized or a curved non-motorized treadmill, but it's great for interval work. You can do sprints on them, so you can do a circuit while you're doing high intensity work. And if not a treadmill, then possibly a rower. A rower is great, also really brilliant for your posterior, for your lower back, for your upper back, but more than anything what the rower works is your legs. So it's a really great workout. So there's 9 items of equipment. Your 6 absolute must-haves, and then 3 additional items. But those are what we would really recommend if you're serious about fitting a home gym, is looking at those items of kit. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you found this interesting. And if you want a list of all of that kit and where you can buy those items, some pricing on that, then subscribe to this channel, like this video, send us a comment, and we'll send you a PDF that's got all of those items of equipment on there as well. So take care, look after yourself, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.